Being a teenager in the 80s and growing up in Buffalo, New York, we didn't get a whole lot of sun. So when we did, you better believe I was laying out with the baby oil with that silver reflective thing frying my skin. Did you do the same thing? Well, our days of tanning, I hope, are over. But I still like that look of a little bit of color on my skin, and that's why I use self-tanners. I have two favorite self-tanners, and I'm going to put them both head to head and see for myself which one I like better, which one looks better on my skin. They are chosen specifically for women in their 50s because, let's face it, our skin has different needs now. Hi everyone, my name is Renee Genie, and this is Renee Genie in a bottle. If you're in your peri or postmenopausal years, there's a few things we need to look for when we pick out a self-tanner. I'm going to show you my two favorites side by side today, plus walk you through my self-tanning hacks, and a few of them you may have never heard of before. First off, a confession. I cannot stand putting on self-tanner. I just can't stand that feeling. The stickiness, the stink. I can honestly never get a good night's sleep when I put self-tanner on my entire body. But I figured out a way to make it more tolerable. I put half of the self-tanner on my upper body, go to sleep that night, then the next night I do my lower half. So let me explain what I mean. Let's pretend I have an event for this Friday. 2 days before, Wednesday night, I will shave my legs and exfoliate my upper body. I like to use an exfoliating washcloth on my arms and upper body and a larger sized exfoliating back scrubber that you can just run behind your back to get all the areas you're going to put tanner on. Then just before I get out, I'll turn the water to cold to try to close up any pores on my skin. You know, lots of women make the mistake of shaving their legs, getting out, and then immediately putting the self-tanner on. The problem with that is the chemical DHA that causes our skin to tan seeps right into those open pores, and then you end up with those little black polka dots on your legs. So once you're out of the shower on upper body tanning day, you give the skin a chance to completely dry. Then apply some light moisturizer to your elbows and a little bit to your fingernails and cuticles to keep the tanner from really darkening in that area. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to put my favorite lotion, Beauty by Earth Self-Tanning Lotion, on this side, and my favorite mousse tanner, Loving Tan Deluxe Bronzing Mousse, on this side. Beauty by Earth Self-Tanner Tanning Lotion is $35.99 on Amazon, and they give you 7.5 ounces. That turns out to be about $4.80 an ounce. The Loving Tan Deluxe Bronzing Mousse is $40 on Amazon. It only gives you 4 ounces, so that turns out to be $10 an ounce. Meaning the Beauty by Earth is about half the price if you're buying both of them on Amazon. I'm using the medium to dark Beauty by Earth lotion. I don't bother using a mitt. The first thing you'll notice is it comes out white. Don't let that throw you off. I like it because you can spread it like lotion, and that little bit of white actually helps me see exactly where I've applied it so I don't miss any spots. I like the smell of the lotion. It's a coconut scent. It does not dry down quickly. Probably about an hour of stickiness, maybe even longer. But I just try to convince myself that it's like a moisturizing lotion. On the other side, my other favorite self-tanner has always been the more expensive Loving Tan Mousse. You need to squirt the foam into a mitt. I'm using the Loving Tan Deluxe Bronzing 8-Hour Mousse in the color dark. By the way, the mitt is just a simple one I bought on Amazon. I'll list it in the description down below. This one has the bronze guide color, so you can see exactly where you're applying it. You need to work in sections because it dries much faster than the lotion. You get an immediate color with this one, but remember, it's simply a color guide. It's not what the true tan is going to look like once you shower. I used to only use this one before vacations or events because of the price, and because I always used to think it was a bit more bronzy. I never put self-tanner on my face. Back in my 30s, I didn't do it because it used to make me break out. But now, at 57 years old, I don't put it on my face, I don't put it on my neck. I feel like for me personally, it just emphasizes dry skin. And if you have sunspots, if you have melasma, a self-tanner is just going to really accentuate those areas. Once the self-tanner settles in a couple of days, if I happen to notice that my face and neck is just a lot lighter than the rest of my body, I'll just manage that with a little bit darker makeup on my face and neck. Again, this is a personal thing, but I avoid the whole armpit region. We don't walk around with our armpits up in the air, so I want it to look like what a natural tan from laying out in the sun would look like. I just rub the tanner around the inner arm area, but that's about it. When I wake up in the morning, I then get back in the shower and rinse off all of that self-tanner that I put on my upper body. I don't use soap, and I try to keep the water cool. The DHA will stop developing if you actually use soap on your skin, so I just rinse off with water. If you have a tanner with a color guide, you're going to see that rinse down the shower. Then just get out, pat dry, and moisturize. So if we put tanner on the upper body on one night, then it's back in the shower the second night to prep your lower body. Again, no soap, cold water. I wash my legs with a washcloth or exfoliating washcloth, making sure all lotions and oils are rubbed off from the day on my feet and lower body. I let my legs dry completely, put moisturizer on my knees and on the sides of my feet where the tanner really seems to grab a hold and darken much more than other parts of my body. Now it's time to apply the tanner to just my lower body and legs. We're going to keep up with the plan to put the Beauty by Earth lotion on this side using my hands. It's a forgiving application using easy, smooth strokes like you're putting on lotion, but you need more patience waiting for it to dry. The Loving Tan Mousse dries slightly faster. You need to be more aware because of the color guide. It can emphasize texture and can dry out your skin a bit if you don't moisturize every day following the application. I use more of a buffing motion with my tanning mitt in some areas, and I have to move in small sections. If I have any mistakes where the tanner gets really dark, I'll use rubbing alcohol. I had a hip replacement surgery and the scar always seems to grab more self-tanner than the surrounding skin. I just take a cotton swab and lightly dab the scar so it blends out instead of standing out. So when it comes to putting tanner on my back, I usually ask my husband, but if he's not home, I've got a second option. This is just called a Lotion Applicator. I got it at Target, Amazon, I'm not sure which, it doesn't matter. And you could really use anything that just has a long handle. I take a tanning mitt, put it over the top of it, and then I just take a simple hair tie, tie it around it. I'll then take either my tanning lotion or my tanning mousse. I'll put it on the mitt, turn around, and apply it. A few more non-negotiables on either night. After the tanner is put on, I put on a long sleeve black shirt and dark long pants. The long sleeves are especially important if you're doing errands around the house or during your nighttime skincare routine. Water splashes up on your wrists. If the tanner is not dry yet, you're going to get watermarks on your skin, so keep on the long sleeves. And if you can sleep in them, even better. If you can't stand that sticky feeling before you go to bed, here's another hack that you may not have ever tried. I get out my Kabuki brush and put powder in the areas that still feel like it hasn't dried completely. I use this brand, Gold Bond Comfort Body Powder with cornstarch. It's talc-free. I also like this one, Body Dust by Megababe. It's a little more expensive, has cornstarch, but it also has something called kaolin clay to absorb anything that still feels like it hasn't dried. Don't put the powder on right away, right after the tanner. Give it a couple of hours to dry, but you are not going to believe the comfort level once you get a little bit of that powder on, if then you're heading to bed. So here's the results. For upper body before and after, Beauty by Earth is on your right, Loving Tan Deluxe Bronzing Mousse is on your left. For the lower body, here's how I started, and here's the after. I don't know, I really don't see much of a difference between the two. Remember, the Loving Tan Mousse, I use the color dark. I used to think it gave me a darker, more bronze colored tan than the Beauty by Earth lotion. But truly, when I put them side by side for this video, I can't really notice a difference. The pros for Loving Tan is that the smell was not much of anything, kind of a clean scent. This one wins if you need something to dry a little bit faster, but the cons are I had to be more careful with the application with this one, and I did notice some really dark patches on my feet. The biggest shocker, this one is more expensive, and I don't think it's giving me much more of a benefit. The Beauty by Earth color was called medium to dark. Its pros, again, I liked it. It's like a coconut smell. I didn't notice, by the way, any stink issues after a couple of hours with either one of the self-tanners. Now, the lotion wins in terms of ease of application. The only con really is that it does take a bit longer to dry down. But if you're a beginner, I would suggest you start off with Beauty by Earth. And remember, you don't need to rub every little bit of that white away. The Beauty by Earth also makes my skin feel a little bit more hydrated than the Mousse. It's much more forgiving on dry menopausal skin. It doesn't grab onto every dry patch, and there's less chance of streaks. And remember, this one was half the price, so that helps too. So the biggest takeaway for me after this video is that both of these were my favorites, but I always thought this one gave me more of a bronzy kind of vacation look. Well, when I look at the before and afters now, I think they both look the same, and this one is half the price when you compare ounce for ounce. Now, the more expensive one does dry down a little bit faster, but when you use the powder hack, this one is also super manageable. I hope this was helpful for you. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite self-tanner for mature skin? My name is Renee Genie, and this is Renee Genie in a Bottle. I hope to see you soon.